We almost did. We almost did it. I almost did it right this morning. No, I don't like that. So I didn't quite do it right either. So do it that way. There, I like it right. Anyway, Boogie with the Bull, Tuesday Night Live. We finally got everybody into a box that they're going to be happy with uh, for the evening. We're live on my profile on Facebook. And if you don't see it running as a post, then you'll see the red ring around my profile picture, and you have to hit on that to get it started because sometimes that's the way Facebook sets it up. Anyway, Randy Rhodes, William Lockett are with us tonight. William, it's a pleasure to see you here.
Thank you.
And start with you first.
What's going on? Okay. Nada, man. Just watching this whole LA thing unfold. It's amusing as hell. Trying to look forward to see who's going to be running against whoever we put up for president in 2028. I don't know. Just trying to keep on top of things.
Who do you think we're going to put up in 2028?
I don't know. I think they'd be stupid not to run AOC Newsom. I think they ought to just put all their crazy at one basket. Full send.
And then who do you think we will run? Do you think we will run Vance and a vice president yet to be named?
I don't know. What's Vivek doing lately? He might be running.
I don't know. Maybe he. That's true. If he comes back to run,
yeah.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
My instinct is over my shoulder.
What do you think, Randy?
What do I think?
What do you think? Yes.
The choo-choo train and the sirens have confused me. What are we talking about? I know we're talking about the LA. Is that what we're talking about?
Anything and everything that comes out of the mouth.
You know what? This whole thing about, oh my God, he called in the National Guard. That's what's causing this turmoil in my city. No, the turmoil is in your city weeks before that even happened. Your turmoil is the fact that you are a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state, and you don't want to bend in there taking away your illegals who are murderers and rapists and killers and thugs and terrorists. And oh my, all these bad people that we don't want in our country, but you do for some reason. You want to see your own citizens get raped multiple times, see them get stabbed multiple times. But when someone like Donald Trump comes in with the legal forces behind him to arrest and deport them, you want to say, we're the bad guys. No, you're the bad guy for one of them. And I can't believe for one moment that guy gets keep reelected without some kind of outside influence like, oh, I don't know, voter integrity problems. You know, who in their right mind will keep voting that guy in is going to keep raising your taxes and keep your state in a sense of turmoil with all the crime? Trump brought in the National Guard because he knew if he waited around until Newsom asked for it, it would be too damn late to protect anything. So Trump did what Trump does best, which is protect American citizens. He federalized the National Guard. He sent them in with orders to arrest anyone who was not playing fair. And when he saw that even incited more violence and uproar, he sent in 700 Marines. Okay? Hopefully the Marines have bullets in their guns in case they have to use them. But they had a video of a freaking guy in a black pickup truck with some kind of fuzzy mask. And on the back of his truck, there's another guy handing out masks that are supposed to be designed to withhold, protect you from all kinds of, natural things like mustard gas and tear gas and so forth.
That's not what I wanted.
I mean, you know, when John Fetterman, a Democrat senator, comes out and says enough is enough, you know something is wrong.
Fetterman's your voice of reason these days.
He is, and he actually can talk sensible.
Yeah, yeah.
He might be our nominee for president.
Wouldn't it be
I
funny if they
wouldn't
ran
go that.
Fetterman?
And then he has a stroke.
I, for the
Right.
life of me, have always thought that he, at some point, would have by now changed to being a Republican because he doesn't seem to be happy with the
No.
Democrats and he seems to vote with us. So, you know, I
Right.
could be wrong. Randy Griesenbeck is watching. William Grant is watching, and everybody else.
Hi, guys.
Hey, so what do you think, William?
Oh, I think it's absolutely glorious what's going on in LA. We got the military coming in to do the job that the cops are not allowed to. And they're a whole different beast. They're not the LAPD. No, they are the Marines and the National Guard. So, you're going to get a little harsher treatment. And I always love love watching people get what they deserve. I mean, you go out of your way to be a dick and to create a dangerous situation and spray paint graffiti everywhere and do this, that, and the other, set stuff on fire and beat people up. Well, the bigger dog should step in at some time, and now the bigger dog's on site. They're trying to sue Trump for doing that, but I don't see where that's going to go because it's just going to wind up like every other court case. They're going to try it and sue him just to put a stop to it. It's not going to put a stop to it, and then they're going to wind up being proven wrong in court. So I don't know why they don't stop getting tired of just getting beat all the time.
I think it boils down to who runs out money faster with all the legal courses going on.
That's about right.
I mean, I think last I saw
I
that
think
Trump has
Newsom's
like
gonna
5
run out of money.
lawsuits against him right now for the immigrants.
For just about everything.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But Trump won this last election, and I truly believe that had not Elon Musk came in with his computer geniuses and so forth, it would have been another stolen election from Trump. Somehow, I think Elon had the tools in place to keep an eyeball on when things were happening. When things started looking a little quirky, they were able to step in and put a stop to it. Um, uh, uh, is the argument, the fight between him and Elon, real? I think it boils down to you got two multi-billionaires. Obviously, one is more billionaire than the other one's a billionaire, but you got two multi-billionaires, two alpha males, and eventually, at some point, they're going to go heads to head, and one's going to walk away with his feelings hurt. But I think in the end of the game, he's going to come back. They're going to make up. They're going to be friends again, and life will be good. But with everything, Trump is not going to get a hell of a lot done these 4 years. He's going to spend these 3.5 years that are left fighting tooth and nail to get his voice to be heard and what he wants to be done. Because every time he turns around, he's got no legal case he has to fight to make things work the way they're supposed to work, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's just not the way it's supposed to be.
But I think he's going to work with Judge Jeanine Pirro, who is now the U.S. Attorney, the interim U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., until she is approved. And we don't know when that will be. But she is going to take any case that's handed to her, and she's got the experience on both sides of the court to win the cases that she's going to take to. And I think people are going to be surprised that they lose, and that this is all going to come down to we're arguing apples and oranges and trying to stop from being able to use the Alien Enemies Act and other things that he has in his tool case, because they're trying to get a president they don't like to stop use all stuff that they voted to give a president the approval to have. It's like Kristi Noem said to, I don't remember who she was talking to in the congressional hearing, but she said to him point blank, you guys approved everything that I'm allowed to do. You guys approved everything that he's allowed to do. So basically, it was her saying, go away, leave us alone, and let us do our job and stop bringing us into court for, or into the Senate for stupid things that, we're just wasting time. I don't necessarily agree that she personally, as the Secretary of DHS, should be out on the battlefield. She should be watching.
Right.
Tom Homan, yeah, he looks great dressed up in green and out there ready to go and have a good time. And as he said to people, protest if that's what you want to do. Just when you cross a certain point, a line on the ground, you're now part of the action, and we are going to keep you from being part of the action. If we're doing it with rubber bullets that explode and leave a green dot on your jacket, that's okay for me. But that I was watching today looked like he was hurt. They fired it right into his back. I don't know how far away they were, but they fired it right into his back, and he looked like he was hurt.
That's because you're not supposed to feel good.
What are you guys supposed to? Oh, of course not. If I got hit.
Oh yeah, I'd be doing all kinds of dance moves.
Let people come and people come and destroy whatever it is they want to destroy, but before they leave, they need to clean it up or tell us where.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of that guy? Did you see the video of that guy where I guess the police shot a tear gas canister at him and it fell short and he ran up, kicked it, and then he turned around, so like, and then he caught one in the balls. He went down fast and he stayed down.
To the word blue ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I just,
So we got this Democrat, Ro Khanna from Silicon Valley.
He thinks that Trump is going to order him arrested, and you know what? Maybe he should.
I don't know if he can do that directly.
I don't think he's done anything yet to be arrested.
Yeah.
Meaning that he himself.
Well, like I don't even know if the DOJ can do that. Like,
can stand wherever and can say whatever. He's smart. He's a smart guy. He's not going to cross the battlefield and be places where he's not supposed to be, because if they see him where he's not supposed to be, they will arrest him. Just like Maxine Waters is all up in arms because David Herta, who is the SEIU Government Employees Union rep for Washington, D.C., but he got arrested. And she evidently, if you watch the video, and make it clear that she was a member of Congress and she was going in to see him because she had that right. And he kind of made it very clear to her, I don't care who you are, there's a proper way to go in, to come and go in, and going through the back door where you are right now is not the way to do it. I don't think Maxine's going to make it through the next election cycle.
Yeah.
She's one of the 120-year Congress people that's going to be voted out.
She's not going to get voted out. She's going to be carried out, maybe. But I think these Democrats, they keep getting voted back into office because they keep patting enough of the palms to keep the power to bees, and they're going to not lose an election. They haven't lost an election in 30 or 40 years. They're not going to start losing them now. Hell, I mean, who was that one? Who was that one that got carried out? I think she actually died while she was in the White House.
Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah.
Dianne Feinstein was on her way out. They should not have brought her in to vote. But the thing that Maxine has going against her is evidently there is enough evidence to prove that she does not live in her district. And the question is that if they have enough to prove this, they can kick her out of that being the representative from that district, whether or not the district that she's actually living in would support her and vote her in from that district is totally another thing. Adam Schiff is another one. He evidently has a condo in Massachusetts, and his primary residence appears to be a mansion in Maryland. And when he was asked about it, well, a lot of people have places where they live. They don't live in Washington, D.C. proper. Well, that's okay. But if you're a primary resident of Maryland and you're elected, something's wrong. But I don't know,
Damn,
and it's only them who are saying, it's happening to them. I don't hear about it on our side. People saying, hey, I just realized I live in the wrong district, or I live in the wrong state for the state I was elected from. I'm sure there are some on our side that have done it too. Joined us, Billy Cassidy, up in Watertown, Massachusetts. And if you're going to Massachusetts, you need landing at Logan Airport, and you need a reasonably priced service to pick you up and take you where you are. Billy is for you to call. So if you're so, get a hold of me, and I will give you the information to contact Billy. I won't do broadcast live unless Billy tells me how to tell you to get a hold of him. I think he'll tell you to get a hold of his website. I think the website is Cassidy, like his last name, CASSIDY Coach, COACH, CassidyCoach.com, I believe is his website. And you can get more information there. Anyway, we go back to the program. I cut the advertising even though it was free.
So Alaska,
Yes.
what can you tell me about where you live that would make me want to move to Alaska?
It's Skagway, Alaska. Just Google it. literally my whole sales pitch right there. It's got an amazing historic district downtown. It's got a lot of really awesome tours you can go on and experiences you can have. You can go out and do like rafting down the river. You can go out and do zip lining. You can go up and cross the border and go see Carcross, and where they did the original gold mining, and that trail that went up through there to the Klondike. Skagway is an amazing place, and there's a reason why it's on the top 20.
You said Skagway.
Yeah, Skagway. Skagway.
Why does that sound? I'm thinking Skagway. Why am I thinking Skagway? That's kind of weird. Like I said, before my dad was stationed in Alaska, many before I was even born, I think, ago, and I forget the name. I probably could look up the name of the base he was there, but back in the day, and they didn't have modern day plumbing for the toilets. Okay.
Right.
And they'd go out in their party things, and they would crap into these 55-gallon drums and so forth. And then and I have a picture of this, when the drums got filled, the whoever was on duty at that point had to seal it up and then take it to the top of this gigantic hill and roll it down the side of the hill, and that's where it would stay forever and ever and ever.
Oh, that's
Um,
no good.
and my dad,
Some is probably still there.
I'm sure it probably is covered by several feet of snow, but yeah, that's what they did, and it's like, well, okay. So, and my dad, he had these pictures of with the dogs, people and their dogs, um, and he had pictures with the Alaskan people. And I want to tell you what, I don't think any of them had teeth because when they smiled, they kind of like had that smile. Well, I'm going to say who anyways. It's like, okay. And to be honest with you, none of them women were pretty. So you really had to be desperate to hook up with one of those ladies. But yeah, my dad. Now they did have a town nearby. And again, I would love. I should have thought about this coming onto the show. But I didn't know you were going to be on the show tonight. But he was the base was near his other town, and it was again like I said back in the early '50s, and it had both sides of the road had these stores and so forth. But yeah, my dad was having a good old time, based in Alaska. That's where he found. That's where he got hooked up with my mom. My mom, uh, her maiden name is Brett's, and her mom told her to, why don't you write your cousin Ronald Rhodes? I'm sure he'd enjoy seeing a letter coming from home. So they're second cousins. So she started writing to my dad, and he wrote back and so forth. And the next thing you know, they never met each other in person. They fell in love. My dad proposed to her in a letter. She said yes. And when he got home from Alaska, he ran up into the arms of not my mom, but her sister. He thought he had proposed to the sister.
Whoops.
Yeah. But they still got married, being second cousins and all. But
That's good.
it makes for interesting reunions. I can tell you that.
Sounds
Sure
like
it
it.
does.
Well, what else makes it even more interesting? Doing genealogy. I'm not sure how it happens. I don't have enough time to figure it out. But back in the 1800s, out towards the middle of the country, two other branches of Brett's and Rhodes pops into life, and
Huh.
they marry into each other's families. Okay, back in the 1800s. And then there's this gap between where they live and Pennsylvania, where there are Bretzes and Rhodeses, and I haven't made the connection as to how in the hell that is even
Where those
possible.
connect.
We can
Yeah.
have two totally separate locations, different time frames, but the same families marrying into each other. It's just
It's
it's,
quite
it's
strange.
yes, it is. It is. So, do you have any
Quite
kids?
strange.
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, I'm
Thankfully.
I,
Okay.
I'm having a hard enough time growing up myself.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I've been spared the
Yep.
kid thing so far,
Wow.
which means my
Uh,
Oh,
bills are
come on.
stupid
It's
low.
not that bad.
Well, I know. I
It's
hear it's
not
an
that
amazing
bad.
thing. It's just not something I've pursued yet.
but yeah, and don't until you. No, I'm serious. But until you are in the right mindset
Right.
to first off have a woman, preferably married, but have a woman who is willing to give birth to your offspring, and then for you to raise those offspring. Uh, I would highly recommend you stay away from it. You have to be in the right frame of mind. You have to be ready for it,
Or at
because
least ready in a flexible fashion, because everybody has their first kids, and their first kids are the learning kids, and so
yeah, yeah,
Right.
they have that thing. But
yeah. There are no books properly written on how to be a parent and how to raise a
True.
child.
No,
It's a lot like looking at
because the
different
best
kinds of
way to be,
psychology issues because
best way to be
everybody's
a
a little
parent
bit
is
different.
to
I remember when
right,
Dr.
and the best way
Spock
for
was a
you to
big
be a
thing.
parent is to buck up and be a parent. Go ahead, Randy.
No, I'm just saying. I remember when Doctor Spock was the big. There was the book to buy, to raise kids. This is the book that's going to teach you how to raise your kids.
Right.
That was after he retired from the Enterprise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
After he saved
His,
the galaxy
his
a few times.
ideas. No, I mean, I think the best way to be a parent is
Just to dive
to
into it.
be in the experience that makes you a parent, and you buck up from there, and you do what you can, and you try to do what you think is right, and you hope your kids go on to do what they think is right,
Right.
and
That's the way I've seen it work out a lot.
they,
Like almost all my friends have
you can't.
kids.
Right.
Yeah, like they're not always ready for it, like set up or mentally prepared or financially prepared. But then when it happens, everything starts to click, and they're like, "Okay, do this, then do this, then do this, then do this," and it gets better and better every time they make a step.
I think my mother started when she was in her early 20s and finished before she was 30, I think, and had 5 kids. And I don't know, I could not see me doing that. It would drive me crazy.
Like, there's no way. Yeah, my
Because with my luck, I'd have 5 daughters who were convinced that they knew more than I did, and you know they were going to go do it
I
their
mean,
way. We had 3 sons, and they have all gone in their own directions and done their own things. And you gotta kind of be happy when you can.
right.
And if they call, and if they don't call, then sometimes you have to call them. And it just
Right. Let
it
him
just
remind him that you're still there.
well, sometimes you do. I call my mom, and I joke with her when she first answers the phone. I'll say, "Yeah, I think I still am."
You think so?
And no, I'm not your mother today. I'd probably apologize and hang up, or think I got the wrong number.
That'd be great.
Funniest, one of the funniest calls I ever got on cell phone started when I hit the airport. Phone rang, and I hit it, and it was my, she said, "How are you, Dave?" We should have given it away because my mother never called me Dave. Never
Right.
has not ever called me Dave. But we talked, and things just sounded right. And I got back to my house and carried the phone inside, and we talked for a little. Said to me, I have the right Dave. Okay, no.
Oops.
And then she told me, and I said, "Can you tell me the number that you were supposed to call?" And she told me the last 4 digits, and it was 1 digit off from mine. And I said,
wow,
I
that was a
am
different Dave.
I
Crazy.
am Dave, but I'm not your Dave.
Right.
I mean, the best thing on Facebook, the Mustang in Milwaukee, I think, or them cities, invited me to I forget what year reunion, and I had even said I wasn't thinking of going because honestly I couldn't afford to go.
Right.
And they said to me, we get around with a bunch of people, and they would really like you to be there. And then at the last minute, I finally realized it wasn't the home stew, and it had been another Dave Glovin, but it wasn't me. And I'm glad we figured that out before I got there, because when I got there and the flight crew said, "Welcome to M wherever you are," I would have said, "Excuse me, I graduated high school in Cupertino, California." I think we have to turn me around and send me the other direction.
I think we got to send me back.
I probably would have gone. I probably would have done a comedy routine about it at the reunion and won a bunch of fans. And
I never went to any of my reunions. I just felt that, going through high school, yeah, I had my fair share of girlfriends. I won't deny that. But at the same time, I had, you know, myself and two of my friends. We were called the Three Musketeers because if you saw one, you saw the other two. We are just uh, this is a very, very close friends. Tim Smith and Thomas Winfield Houck III. Um, but these four guys, for the 4 years of my high school life, tore us apart. The three of us. They kicked our ass. And I don't know why. Whatever we did to them, I have no idea. They just, these four guys. So they came from wealthy families. One was a parent, father was a lawyer. One was a wealthy person. One was a police detective, and I forget who the other one was, but they all came from money, right? And they just picked on us and they beat us. They pushed us. They shoved us. They did everything possible that a bully would do, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, why in the hell would I want to go back and maybe relive that? I'll be the one that they write the script to another movie about the guy that goes back to his 20th or whatever 30th, your reunion, and the boys show up and start doing it over again. Um, it's not for me. Um,
well, I didn't need to go to mine because the smart guy ended up making money, making a fortune in the software business. The smartest guy, I believe, became a chemist somewhere in the computer industry. And I went on to do radio, so people got a chance to hear me. I said to someone, all of you that go to the reunion stayed in the area and live near the school because your kids go to the school, and I would feel like an outsider at my own reunion. And then you bring your husband, someone who's never been there and doesn't know any of these people. Do you bring them? I went to the college's, I think, 50th anniversary of the radio station, and I only told a few people that I was going, and I had a great time. I really did have a great time at that one. We got the old crew together, and we were given, I think, 3 hours to do a 4-hour show in 3 hours. I don't know how we managed to pull it off. And
one of the funny things is Thomas Winfield Houck III, right? Everyone made fun of him because he'd come to school, and under his arm he had a copy of the latest newspaper of the Wall Street Journal. He was always had it with him, right?
Yeah.
And everyone always made fun of him. Mm-hmm. But what they didn't know, and I don't to this day know how he got started money-wise, but he was in high school and he owned several Section 8 houses in Lancaster City. So he owned these houses and he was a landlord to these people in high school. And he was, making money, renting these Section 8 houses out, right? And after graduation and so forth, here he is. He a declared millionaire and has properties. He still has properties, and he takes his cruise everywhere every year. And people made fun of him, and he made a success out of himself. The other one, Timothy Smith, they made fun of him because he kind of acted gayish, you might say. And he turned out to be a Catholic priest. Go figure that one out.
Crazy.
the Santa Clara County Business Journal, when we had the limo business in California, was one of our best reads. We'd read someone just got hired or someone just got promoted, and I'd go personally and drop off an envelope, knowing I wasn't going to be able to get in and talk to the person, but I would just drop off an envelope for that person. And I'd always tell the receptionist, I'm not serving a notice or anything. It's just we're if he's responsible for booking his own transportation, we're just giving it. And sure enough, these gals would read it, and before you knew it, doing 10 or 15 of them, especially the Boston Business Journal.
You've just been served.
Fantastic work. Then I kept got invited over to LinkedIn. I got a month because someone invited. By then, I picked up somebody. I got another month. Then LinkedIn got mad at me because I went for a year where I had invites that kept me on for a year, and then I finally just said, well, it wasn't supposed to work that way, but it did, only because LinkedIn is I don't know if it still is. It was one of the most expensive sites to be on. Why? Because it was all working people who.
Yeah, well, I remember when LinkedIn first dropped. It was an amazing platform as far as
trolls out. It was for me because a guy who was in the wrong at the wrong time and just had a car and had a limousine and then a few more limousines, that managed to prove that he was in fact the right person for you to use. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that good. Some of the places that we got into, but
I don't have a lighter.
Anyway.
So
bring the person on with you, William.
That's my girl. She doesn't want to be on camera.
Oh, that's okay.
So William, what do you do for a living, William?
Right now, I'm a grocery stalker at the grocery store in town.
Okay.
There's only one.
Only one stalker, only one grocery store.
Only one grocery store.
Well, then you guys are pretty busy.
Yeah, extremely busy.
My dad, when he was in the Air Force, to make some extra money, he was a bagger on the base store, and I'm not sure if he got a wage with that, but back in the day, people would tip for you to bag your bags, and it had one of those like metal troughs right at the end of the conveyor belt, and people would throw their tips, and they would land up in that little corner, right? And that's what he did to make some extra living.
Yeah, it'll working in that kind of an industry up here. Everybody likes a tip. I've noticed. Like, you could do anything and you get a tip for it. I do a lot of PC work for people in town. Well, I used to do a lot of PC work for people in town. And I wouldn't charge them anything except word of mouth advertising, but then they'd pay me like $200 for something, or $150 for this, and it was like maybe an hour's worth of work. It's not difficult, but there's tons of money to be made up here. I was a bus driver for one summer, and I was making money literally hand over fist. I was cleaning out my tip jar twice in a day, and my tip jar was like yay big, and it was just fistfuls of money. It was glorious.
And you said bus?
Yeah, driving a bus.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
So they say they even tipped the bus driver. Holy shit. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got huge amounts of tips. Like, ridiculous.
Okay. Explain to me why. Well, why would if you I'm assuming that they're paying to ride the bus, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what would prompt someone to pay for a bus ride, on top of that, tip the bus driver? I mean, did you
personally, I have no idea, but evidently I'm a really charming fucking dude when I get on it. And
what would
it
pays for the cab to tip the cab driver? Then what what
That
makes
they
a
do.
what makes a person tip their limousine driver when their limousine driver is me, and I say I'm the owner of the company. I automatically make 50% of every ride that goes in one of my cars. So, you don't have to tip me if you don't want to, and I fully
Right.
understand because I'm the owner. And then I found out my tips, I'd almost make 100% of the job in my tips.
Yeah.
But
Which is crazy.
it
Strikes
is.
me as crazy. I'd never do it myself because I'm never balling like that, dude. I can barely pay the people that I
One of my
get food
favorite
from.
games that I used to play with myself is I would drop people off at the airport, and I would go, okay, I'm going to be by myself in the car on the way back. I can take my jacket off, but I'd put whatever they gave me in one of the pockets on my coat and go home. And then when I got home, I'd get out of the suit as fast as I could, hang it in the closet, and then the next time I put it on, I'd reach in the pocket
And
and try
there's
to
your
figure
money.
out what was stuck there, and I'd pull out $20, and I'd go, oh yeah. That's where that came from. This time was my now wife was my, and a call came in, and she was up visiting me, and I got dressed or showered, got dressed. I put my glasses on. I had my to get into the car, and I'm running around the place going, I can't find my glasses, which were on my face, and I can't find the keys to the car. And Donna said, well, your glasses are on. And then she said, reach into your pocket. Sure enough, there were my keys. But also think about that in retrospect. The car had
he
keyless
drove
entry.
limousines. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I'm really feeling comfortable here.
The car had keyless entry, so I could have gone down and opened the door, and the glove box was always left unlocked with a key to the car in it, because other people would come by and need that car. So, I could have just left and gone and realized I was okay until I felt stupid about running around when I realized my keys were in my pocket.
I like to count on that now. I've started storing stuff in my pockets just so it would be there next time I put my stuff on. Like my post office keys, this ungodly monstrosity of a thing. I normally keep that in my inside pocket of my big Carhartt jacket, just because when I throw my Carhartt jacket on, okay, I'm going outside, I'm doing stuff, I'm probably going to be swinging by the post office, and then bam, I'm able to check my post office box. But yeah. About school reunions, I was going to go to my reunion, and then like 3 or 4 people died, and I just never made it back down there to do anything.
So, have you always lived in Alaska?
No, me and my fiance moved up here in 2011, and
from where?
We just stayed from Salem, Oregon.
Salem. I don't think I live in. I don't think I would live in any town that has the same name as where you would burn witches at.
I don't know. Salem's pretty cool. It's not like Portland. Nowadays, Salem's starting to become a little bit more conservative, even though it's the capital. Just because they're tired of the problems. They're like, yo, we've been a sanctuary state longer than California. What the fuck?
The name of the road that they, in the area where they did all the witches' executions, was named Salem End Road. And it was named Salem End Road for that point. It was in Framingham, Massachusetts. And we did the security when I worked at a security company that was not where they were executed. And where they were executed, they had built a garage for some of the guys that drove cars and could work on the cars, that worked for the guy that owned the complex. And it would spontaneously combust about 1 o'clock in the morning. Just all of a sudden, boom. And there was no reason why, and we couldn't explain it. The fire department couldn't explain it. They finally found someone who would go by when no one was looking and set the trash can on fire and to that garage and blow that garage.
Yeah.
We thought we didn't want to be in that.
You're thinking
building.
witches, huh?
I was thinking that the witches were coming by and they were mad about that, but.
Well, I think I'd be mad about being burned alive if I wasn't a witch.
I'd be mighty upset about it.
I would be upset.
I'll get a little burned up about that.
I mean, hell, I used to get upset when I got canceled on Facebook. A little burnt alive with a stake.
Why?
Just because it irritated me. I used to be so pissed off at Facebook because I'd be scrolling through my memories. It's like, oh, this memory's been removed. This memory's been removed. This memory's been removed. And I had entire weeks of that. And so I'm like, dude, what the hell's even going on? And then I started seeing where I guess getting shadow banned, and then I'd be catching actual bans.
Yeah.
And dude, 2016 was not a good year.
Right. And I could go up if I got 5 minutes with Mark Zuckerberg. He wouldn't know who I was in the beginning, and he probably wouldn't acknowledge it if he knew who I was at the end, because he probably doesn't. I mean, there's 6 billion members of Facebook, and he's going to be able to go, oh, yeah, wait a minute, aren't you that guy that runs all these groups and is an admin in all of these other groups?
Right, he's not going to know that.
and teaches them how to get away or how to get around all of these roadblocks that we throw at them. And it's not worth it anymore, really. I mean, it's sad when you lose an account. It is sad that when you lose an account that you had for a long time and they take that account away from you and you lose all of the memories. It's not like they say go in there and clean it out and take what you want. They just tell you you can't use that account anymore. And they don't even tell you why. I've never had that happen. I've had the same account for 16 years, and I worried why they didn't tell me to take a hike sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? And I've even been using MetaBook with parentheses for O's instead of Facebook lately, thinking that would anger them. But I guess the algorithms haven't figured that out yet, that MetaBook really means Facebook.
They're still trying to figure out why people keep reporting all these ads for porn. Yeah. It's like, guys, come on.
I thought they got mad and they took my shares away. Once in a while, I get in the mood where I will X out under it.
Yeah.
And I swear in a half an hour, I think I X'd out close to 200 sponsored buys. And some that I just should not have even seen. But, all of a sudden,
Look, there it is. What the hell?
I was on a podcast. It seems like that is happening tonight again. I don't know why. Did not X out as many ads as I did. So if you like the broadcast, please take it and share it wherever you think you would like it to be. And if you didn't like the broadcast, take the broadcast and share it wherever so that everybody sees it. And they don't like it because what I'm in the case of people who don't like it and tell their friends they didn't like it, whether or not they like it, and most of the time
bring on the haters.
Most of the time their friends actually like it.
Bring on the hate. We can get them 2 or 3.
If there was someplace else I could be, that is free, I would be there. But all those places cost money, so we haven't made it here. But anyway, what else have we got? We have 10 minutes left.
We have the
hour. We have 40 minutes left if we want to go hour and a half. But I had said we would go an hour and a half as long as we had something. We didn't. We were only going to go an hour because Randy and I have to be back tomorrow morning anyway. You're welcome to join us if you're around.
Maybe, yeah. I'm going to be trying to get my
Morning
own
at 10
thing kicked
o'clock.
off here pretty soon, and I'm going to try and schedule it around everybody else's. So I'm just going to be occupying dead air, but that's okay because I'm like 4 hours ahead of everybody, or 4 hours behind everybody, so that's okay. It'll work out.
Well, so wait a minute. It's 9 o'clock. No, wait a minute. It's 4 hours behind is.
It's 4:40,
3 o'clock.
4:49 right here.
4:40. Do math in my head,
Yeah, neither can I.
which is partly why I had a very hard time my senior year, thinking I wasn't going to graduate because they kept saying to me, "You need to pass algebra in order to graduate." I said, "I need to graduate." I said, "I need to pass Math 100 to graduate," and they said, "No, you need Algebra 1 to graduate." So,
Yeah, I had to take
did I
that,
do any
and I had
more
to.
of it? No.
When I was
Do you
taking,
guys,
Did
do
I
you guys,
pass?
do you guys
Very-
recognize the name of Scott Bloomquist?
Scott Lindquist. Not off the top of my head, but why?
I guess he has does something that people would recognize his name from, which we don't. But anyways, he was a race car driver, I guess. Anyway, a motorcycle. Okay. So, anyways, he was suffering some pretty bad health issues, and he collects vintage planes. And one of the planes he was flying in crashed. But after all this point in time, since a year, I guess, they finally came out and said that he deliberately crashed his plane into the ground to kill himself.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Ouch. Ouch. Ruined a good plane just because he wanted to kill himself.
Yep. He committed suicide. Only took a year to figure that out.
Huh.
I'm actually to talking to people that want to do that, or if they always approach it from a sarcastic and comical point of view, that to tell people why you did it. And the note you're going to leave for me wouldn't be enough.
It's never going to be thorough enough.
Because the note would make why didn't you for help? I mean, the last one was, I won't mention his name, but
or just call somebody.
He decided to swallow a bullet.
Damn.
Because he wanted help. And I didn't go to the funeral. I off while everybody else was at the church and burying him under. And I said, if you had asked, there were so many people you knew that would have helped. Plus the problem is back in 1982, I think, when this happened, he was Howard Stern.
Oh, wow.
Lawson was probably somewhere in radio, but he could have on and been. He was just that good, and to have to look up at the heavens and go, you made sure you missed the boat. They were calling for you, and you made sure you missed the boat.
Damn shame.
Yep.
I
feel him around me every once in a while, looking at this broadcast and going, "But you trained in radio and you missed the boat too." I said that. I actually said back to him because I thought he was here. I said, I'm 63 years old. I can't catch the boat anymore. That ship has long since sailed.
It's okay. So
it's probably been there and back by then.
so if we're close to, I think a good place to end the show is it's going to be with Pete Hegseth. I love this guy. I knew when he took the position that he was going to be phenomenal. So he's in front of the Congress. He's being questioned, And the Democrat obviously is asking, what is this going to cost us? Where's this money coming from? How's deploying troops into Los Angeles going to affect their training? Blah 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 blah. Right. So
Right.
I got to share this, Dave. So if you don't mind sharing that out.
Hold on, I gotta bring in the other screen.
Los Angeles County has 17,000 law enforcement personnel, and the state of California has 24,000 National Guard troops. What is the current cost for what is taking place in California, and how is it going to affect this budget or the budget we're currently serving under? How much are these deployments going to cost for both the Marines and the National Guard? And what training or duties are not taking place because of these deployments?
So in Los Angeles, we believe that ICE, which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations in any state and any jurisdiction in the country, especially after 21 million illegals have crossed our border under the previous administration.
Boom! I love him.
Dude.
Boom, he did.
He keeps track. He's like, dude, I'm not gonna.
But the other side is that he could have continued on and said these guys are getting live. I mean,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, training hand on hand.
On how to do this job, how not
In an
to
urban
just
setting.
stand there and kill everybody. You know, I watch a lot of videos where the cops and whoever are literally. And it's like the only thing I can figure in reality, that's just them saying, hey, get out of our way. It might be brutal that that's what they're doing, but get out of our way and let us do our job. You know?
So now that Disney owns 100% of Hulu, how quickly do you think Hulu is going to start losing its subscribers?
You know, it kind of.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. But I'm going to do this, though. Put you back up there. But, you know, I don't really think in the long run the bulk of people care. They watch the program where it is because they like the program. So they'll tune into Hulu, even though ABC owns it and they hate ABC because they want to watch the program. Just like, you know, they'll tune into any other network, they'll watch that program, and then they'll tune up. They'll turn it off. I'm not supposed to watch Netflix because the Obamas have made all kinds of money and have all kinds of deals over it. And I just say, you know what? Screw it, because they may own a lot of stock in the company, but I'm not watching it to watch their programs. What I watch are programs that are on Netflix that I can't get anywhere else. Go ahead, Jim. I mean, William, you look like you're kind of perplexed with what I just said.
No, I was just making sure the birds aren't coming in the house. I got crows outside.
Oh, okay.
Are they? Oh, wait. So you have black crows outside your house?
Yeah.
That's not a good thing, my friend. Black crows show up only for one reason.
For food.
Well, I was thinking more along the line like death.
Oh, no, it's the Ravens.
No.
Oh, you're right. You're Ravens.
No.
William got
carry
brand new
souls.
equipment that seems to be working great and making me jealous. And he can't. This can't be his final broadcast. I just won't be able to.
He goes out. He goes out on live video.
Well, that's probably the best way to go, though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Or in your sleep.
Doing something.
You know.
Like, well.
Yeah.
In your sleep. Well, I don't know. That's supposed to be the least painful.
and you go to sleep and don't wake up.
Supposedly.
There's
I
some
don't.
nights that I'll fall asleep and I won't wake up until like 10 o'clock the next day. I'm thinking to myself, holy
Good.
shit, I can sleep that soundly and not wake up throughout the night. Damn, that's just scary. Um, I don't know.
That's what happens to old men.
Oh, okay. Uh, I
Chris
might
Nolan.
be
Hold on.
what? So, anyways, yeah. So
I'm
besides
here.
Oregon and Alaska, have you lived anywhere else?
Yeah, I've lived in Texas, Florida, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. So 5
Okay.
states.
So then I guess the next question is,
Hmm.
were you in the military that you moved so much, or you just weren't happy with where you were?
No, I just wanted to go out and experience stuff. I decided at 19 that I was going to go out and collect some stories before I died, so I've done nothing but since. And
Oh,
I have
wow.
a lot of stories from a lot of cool places. I've done everything from doing oil changes to testing video games. I've seen some pretty cool sights. I've been through a couple different hurricanes. Uh, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's been fun.
Well, when my dad was stationed in Mississippi, we lived on base housing. We lived through a hurricane, and that was the first time I ever experienced a military base sounding the sirens, telling people telling people to get the hell inside their houses because the hurricane was coming through. Uh,
Hmm.
that, that was like an experience. But my dad was in the Air Force, and we moved a lot. So that's the only reason why I lived in many different states in one country.
Right.
But actually lived in England for 3 years because my dad was always being relocated. Uh, about the time we settled down, got a house, and made some friends, and so it was time to get back up and move again.
Right time to relocate.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends like that were bouncing around because they had to. My buddy's dad was in the Coast Guard, and he actually moved around a little bit. And then the other one, his dad was in the Army, and so they got bounced around a lot.
I know my dad got stationed in New Jersey, Biloxi, not Biloxi. Oh, frig. Where's the airport? McGuire Force Base. Um, and they told him this is your last move. You're not. This is it. So my dad bought this absolutely beautiful white rancher, picket fence, trees in the backyard. It was absolutely gorgeous, and I was a little kid, and I was loving it. A beautiful neighborhood. And 1 year, my dad bought this brand new car, big ass car back in the day. 1 year to date, my dad got relocated to go to England for 3 years. Uh, so he had to sell off the house. But luckily, because of his rank, he was able to have the car transported to England, you know? So that was cool driving our big ass American car down the streets of England.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty
But
cool.
because the sun is on the left side, that must have confused him. Well, no, he was probably used to
Well, he had
used to it, but it
he
was
had to
everybody
go
else.
through special training to learn how to drive on the opposite side of the road. So I'm not sure how long that took him. So he went ahead of us to get the housing in place and so forth because he didn't want to live on the base. So he got this semi-detached house a few miles from the base that we lived in. And of course, you had to go through training to learn how to drive. So you get a license to drive in England. And then he called for us, and then we flew over by plane. Obviously, we didn't fly with our hands, but we flew over. Um, and yeah, it was a beautiful home. Oh my God, I could have lived there. I really could have. Um, England at that point in time was still recovering from the wars, and everyone lived in these small houses, and the stores were small, and what you didn't see in their front windows along the sidewalk, they didn't have. Um, but the people, they didn't like us. We're Americans moving into their neighborhood, and they saw our big car, they saw how we lived, and they hated us because we were living, like the victor of a war, and they're still living like the victim of a war.
Right.
So that's interesting. Interesting
And
line.
it's nice to see how different people do different things and how they have things set up in societies, even if it does, ruffle some feathers when you do you.
Yeah.
The ruffling feathers can be fun.
Truly. You don't want to do it too much because you don't want to set them on fire. But yeah, a little ruffling is no problem.
Yeah, no, a little ruffling. A little bit of ruffling. Anyway.
Yes, that's it.
Coming up on 8:05. So let's see. David Navarre is watching. Get all. Dooley is watching. William Rocket is watching. I'm watching. Randy's watching. And again, if you
I hope I'm watching.
Please share the broadcast wherever you can. That will help us tonight, because for some reason I got about 40 shares out, and then I got put into a share ban, and that's probably why I got put into a share ban. I mean, groups that want me to post the broadcast there. Anyway, anything else we need to cover, gentlemen?
No. I think you have a pet bird.
Me? No.
I keep hearing a bird. Yeah, I keep hearing like a bird, like a.
I think it's a notification thing.
Oh, that might be. This sounds like one of those big parrots or whatever they are. Those that make a lot of noise. They talk.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a chihuahua. A chihuahua and a bunch of noisy ass crows outside.
So do we. Yep. So do we. Yep.
Chihuahua.
They're good for making a lot of noise.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually my cats are here on my desk, driving me nuts, walking back and forth with their ass in my face.
Right.
But they're not here today. I wonder where they're at.
Probably not causing trouble.
Probably somewhere down
that's
cool and are laying there and decided to do okay tonight. Plus, you have so many studios in the house, they don't know which one to be in all the time.
Here is your question to end the night on, and here it is. So I just mentioned about my cats. Towards the end of the night, they always jump on the desk, telling me it's time to go to bed, Daddy, and they'll walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and their assholes are right there in my damn face. Okay, so why can't I smell their assholes? And that's the question to end the night with.
Why can't you smell their?
Yeah, I mean,
you're not trying hard enough. You're not trying hard enough.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
I don't. I really don't want to know where that came from. And on that, no.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, here they are. They're standing for me. Their butts are like an inch from my face. You would think you don't want to know. And that's how my mind works, folks.
But when you get a hold of the Colonel and ask him if he wants to answer that tomorrow morning, because I'm sure I will get kicked off.
You tell I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired.
We are getting tired. So, William, say goodnight. Tell people catch you when you're not here, or where else they can catch you.
As is, I don't know. I'm going to be hosting a weekend movie night over on Wimkin, which is going to be fun. WIMKIN.com. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch. I have like this massive binder of DVDs, and then I have another massive binder of DVDs, and I have everything from anime to like older style Hollywood flicks like His Girl Friday, Casablanca, all that stuff, all the way up to newer stuff. In Time, I got some other movies I wanted to be doing some shows on. So yeah, just a lot of hanging out.
Cool. All right. And Randy, tell people what you do.
Besides making fun of myself, yeah, I do genealogy. I love doing what I do. Um, I just discovered some pretty neat stuff for one of my clients that he wasn't aware of, and he was pretty much astonished. Um, I lost one client. He came to an end, which is fine. It happens. But then I picked up two new ones, so that was pretty cool. Um, it's just if you ever sit down and wonder, you know, how did I get here, right? You know, the $1 million question: how did I get here? Why am I here? You know, when you go back in history and you find out what your lineage went through to survive, to make a living, to have children, to raise children, to work, and so forth. It's amazing, what they had to experience for you, for me, Dave, and so forth, to even, make it here in life. Uh, and then when you find out that your ancestor knew so and so, who knew so and so, who was related to me, that's like pretty cool. And it seems like Daniel Boone keeps poking his head up. Um, and it's just like I mentioned, Daniel Boone came from a huge family, like 14, 15 kids. And then he had 14, 15 kids, and he had 14, 15 kids. And, from that lineage came over 1 million people. So it's not hard to find you related to somebody else because of that whole, well, there's only like a small village here. There's like 150 people here, and we only have each other, so let's screw each other, and then move on from here. It's amazing how closely related we all are when you think about it and take time to work on it. And that's what I do. I find what wars, what battles people fought in, how they made their money, and who was rich, who was poor, who was in between. And it excites people. I have Mindy. She is, and all my clients are from the South. Go figure that one out. But Mindy, she's been with me almost 3 years now because I keep finding neat stuff that excites her and keeps her with me. So that's what I do. That's what.
Well, you find a lot of interesting stuff for a lot of interesting people. Like I can't imagine my 15th great grandfather Poland spent time awake during his reign, going, I wonder if my 50th great grandson is going to be an idiot.
Wait, did you say if he's going to be an idiot?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you said. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, you're cute. You're cute, Dave.
I keep imagining, since you told me that, the lawyers will knock on my door like they did in King Ralph.
Right.
Candy, I think it was. He's now the king of England.
Right.
I can only imagine that they would knock on my door and tell me you are the king of Poland, and I'd have to break that news to Zelensky over there in Ukraine.
Don't do that when I'm trying to swallow.
I have to call my good friend. Vlad and say, you have to go through me to get to them. So why don't we just call this a draw on everybody and just both of you can go home and keep what you have.
Oh.
But anyway, gentlemen, it was real. It was fun.
Yep.
I guess we could say it was real fun.
I think it was real
tomorrow
fun.
morning at 10 a.m. What?
I think it was real fun.
Real. Okay. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, you can catch Randy and I. Hopefully, William Lockett will be there, and anybody else who wants to join for morning caffeine. And I think that's it.
I think that's it. Okay. It was fun.
Was.
We need to do this again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You do.
I like hanging out with y'all.
Yeah.
What?
So I like hanging out with y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
Like having you here.
So I guess I'll be the first one to bounce. See you guys.
We'll see you. See you, Randy.
All right. And you want to go next, William?
Yep,
Or you
I'll
want me to
catch you
go
later,
next?
Dave.
All right. Let's see. How am I going to do
Yep,
this?
thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, folks. You saw it all. You heard me say. If you enjoyed it, please put it where you think it needs to go on Facebook and help us convince them that we're okay when we do something right. And don't get all wound up because you see what's going on and happening in California. I don't know who to blame these days, but people on our side are doing what they think they have to do to protect a state that needs help. And whether or not they will be told that you can't do that, I don't think they will be told that. I think they will be told that when it all gets to court, I think a judge is going to look at the governor of California and the mayor of Los Angeles and say, hey, you put yourselves at risk, and you have to accept the consequences. And the consequences were that whatever law enforcement help ICE needed is what they brought in and they came for. And if people had just let them go in and do their job, stand a safe distance away and protest all you want, it would have been a lot better. If you're rioting out there, grow up, okay? Because either you were hired to come in and do that, or you somehow came in to do that, or you live there and you're doing that. And, when you're all done, that's how it's going to live. How it's going to look. And, it's just wrong. Let the people do their job and let the people do their job. Let people that they have the power of arrest over come in and do their job, and then be in the courtroom and protest the fact that you're there in the courtroom and see what that does for you. But realistically, it isn't to me what people did while they were here. It's the fact that they came in illegally. Everything else continued on from there. If they didn't come in illegally, a lot of them wouldn't be here. Some might be here. The ones who deserve to be here should deserve to be here. If you honestly did what my great-grandfather Abraham did, and you packed up your family and I think 11 sons and a daughter from his second marriage that he treated like one of his own, from what I understand. You brought your wife, your 12 children, and yourself to the United States, and you did what you needed to do. And you paid your taxes when you had to, and you paid this and paid that when you had to, and you just did what you needed to do to raise a family. That's different than if you just hop, skipped, and jumped over an open space and came here and then did bad things and did stuff that, honestly, if we were in the country you came from doing the same kind of thing, we wouldn't be there, or it would be a lot worse. So you have to accept what goes around is what comes around, okay? And I'm sorry that people may not agree with me. That's your right. You have that right. to not agree with me. But if you came here illegally, that's the crime you committed. Okay? If you wanted to be here legally, there is a legal way to do it. And it doesn't matter that Joe Biden turned off the legal way to be here. If you wanted to be here legally, you could have come in illegally when you got arrested and detained for it. That's when you start. We're here to become Americans. I don't care anymore. Stop telling me I'm wrong, because I don't agree that you had a right to come here and be a career criminal for you and your family or whatever else. Okay? It just doesn't go that way. If we went where you were and we tried to do it over there, the same way you did it over here, we'd be rotting in a jail over there. So think about that. Because obviously, if you want to be an American, the way you're going about it is not the way we do it here. And I'm not the only one who has ever said that to you. But think about that. And you're always welcome, if you're hearing me, you're always welcome to come onto the program and explain it from your point of view. But no, you came here, you broke the law to be here. You didn't do anything about it until you got caught and then cried foul. You can't send me back to where I came from because I did this and that and the other thing. Don't want to hear. Okay? Don't want to hear anymore. We need to take care of our welcome other people that want to be away. Like I said, knock on the door, come in here and kiss the ground if that's what you want to do. But that's how we do it. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now. Jane O'Malley came in under the wire. Larry Estes came in under the wire. Larry Estes was here earlier, so I apologize. But I want to thank Larry for being here. I want to thank Jane for coming in under the wire. And I think that's all. We've mentioned everybody. So I'm going to say goodnight. Randy and I will be here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, 10:15. And we'll do our usual look at a news monitor and discuss a whole bunch of different things. If you have something you want to discuss that we didn't get to tonight, by all means, come in and let's do it. Okay, Jane didn't come in under the wire. She was here for a while. Okay, I'm sorry. I have two monitors and I turn my head and I don't look at and I don't see everything. Or I grab this one and I don't see everything. We're kind of on a wing and a prayer here. Anyway, I'm going to turn it off so that we can watch General Hospital and other things. We finished a little bit early tonight, so we'll keep that in mind. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, like I said, on my profile. It's always on my profile. And we were back on Facebook. Back on YouTube. For anyone watching it over there, whether you identified yourselves or not, I apologize. We were actually sending it to someplace else. I don't even remember where we were sending it to, but we weren't sending it to YouTube. Tonight we did send it to YouTube like we're supposed to. So anyway, on that note, double V's, it's all done.